morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank you for attending today, and I'd like to thank all the sponsors for making this happen. My name is Dany Hanania. I'm an Atlassian expert, and today we're going to go through. Today we're going to go through almost the same topic as Ade, which is basically individuals and interactions, but we're going to be seeing the technical side of this through an application which is called Jira. Okay? Okay, is this working? Very good. So our agenda for today will be the Agile Manifesto in brief, okay? And then we'll go through individuals and interactions, and we'll talk about some processes and tools, and then the right gear, and Jira as the agile gear, and then we'll leave some time for questions and answers. Okay, so let's start basically with the Agile Manifesto. I'm not sure if all of you know much about the fundamentals of Agile, but when we talk about Agile, we always talk about individuals and interactions over processes and tools, okay? And we also talk about working software over comprehensive documentation. We talk as well about customer collaboration over contract negotiation. And eventually we talk about responding to change over following a plan. Now, this does not mean, okay, that we will not have processes, we will not have tools, okay? That does not mean that we will not be negotiating contracts, but we focus on the left side here, which is individual and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and responding to change, okay? And in our case today, and for this specific presentation, we'll be tackling individuals and interactions, and basically we will be looking at one of the tools that can help us adopt the agile methodologies and the agile culture, okay? First of all, let's start with the individuals and the interactions. Individuals aligned and understand each other, and this is very important, and this is what Ade was talking about a while ago. You need to have a coherent team, okay? Yes, you might have some champions and some superstars in your teams, okay? But it's a collective work. It's something that is done by collaboration. Let's talk a little bit about football teams, okay, as well. You see there are superstars that are playing for example, Barcelona and Real Madrid. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. They are both superstars, okay? But they cannot do everything. They cannot play defense. They cannot play midfield or being a goalkeeper. And eventually a win for a team or success of a team, okay, is a collective effort. It's not something that is done by a single individual, okay? Regular team interactions and communication. And this is very important as well, because when we talk about individuals and when we talk about team, continuous communication has to be there, okay? We cannot just assemble a team, and this team might be people of very high caliber and they're highly skilled, but they're not willing to work with each other, okay? And they're not willing to sit down together to interact more and to discuss things on moving forward. The aim of all of this eventually is to deliver, and to deliver with quality, okay? So you try to assemble a team, and this team has to be in continuous interaction in order to get a proper result later on. Continuous guidance, and this is very important as well. Why? Because yes, you can assemble a team, and this team can be interacting the whole time, okay? But if they're not guided properly, if you don't have, and when we talk about Agile, if you don't have, for example, a product owner or a Scrum Master that are ensuring, okay, that the Agile practices are being done properly, and they're not guiding people, they're not resolving conflicts when you have conflicts, okay? Because all of us have different opinions, and this is normal, okay? So we need not only an alignment, okay? We need as well a regular interaction and communication. We need continuous guidance, and we need to have decisions based on team collaboration and input, okay? All of us at some point in our life had a discussion, and we thought, okay, that our opinion is the right opinion. Okay? And sometimes we're not able to look at other people's opinions. We just stick to our opinion. Ade was talking about, I was asking if people are stubborn here. Okay? People are stubborn everywhere. And all of us resist change at one point in our life. Okay? And therefore, it is nice to collaborate, to have this setup where you just meet with people. Okay? You have all of these individuals and you involve them in your decisions and you listen to their point of view. Why? Because sometimes, okay, their point of view might just make things smoother, and sometimes some of us might not have seen this coming already. So this is with regards to individuals and interactions. Now, that was the main focus. Now we're going to talk about some processes and tools. Okay? Now processes or tools or gears, they assist in the delivery. Okay? They do not deliver. It's all about people. It's all about teams. Okay? You may have the best tool out there. Okay? But if you don't have the proper team to utilize the tool properly, you'll not be able to benefit from this tool. Okay? So people deliver, and they deliver through tools or gears. And then we have, and then processes and tools, they assist the agile culture. Okay? How do they assist the agile culture? We'll see later on about some of the frameworks of agile when we talk about Kanban and when we talk about Scrum. And we'll see how these tools can assist us in adopting these frameworks. Okay? And eventually, processes and tools should promote collaboration. Okay? They should not be obstacles for our work. If we have too many processes, and these are one of the issues that we're having whenever we go to try to implement and for consultancy, that people are always sticking to the workflows and the processes. We have too many processes. This is how it should be done. Okay? Now, first of all, processes are created because of a need. Okay? But the higher need is to deliver. So if the processes that we have right now, okay, are not working, you need to refine the processes. But first of all, in order to refine the process, you need to understand exactly that people, okay, should be able to do this. You need input from people. Sometimes if I design a workflow for you, for instance, let's assuming we're talking about software development, okay? And we need to have a workflow, to configure a workflow for change or for a new feature, okay? And if I design this workflow and this workflow cannot be applied, okay, because people are not able to work with this workflow, I will stop delivery and eventually I'll not be able to meet my targets, okay? I'll not be able to have a working software. I'll just focus on the documentation and the workflows, okay? Okay, so we talked about individuals and interactions. We talked about some of the tools that can help us adopt Agile, but we also need to understand that we need to select the proper tools or the right gear, okay? So in this case, for example, and I'm just giving you, just imagine one of these superstars, football superstars, wearing high heels and running at 35 kilometers per hour, okay? Just imagine that one of these just did a tackle and he might just kill someone with this. So it is very important, first of all, to have the agile culture. This is not something that you can, build in days or something. This is something that takes time, and it's a practice, okay? You get more agile when you want to be agile. This is not a destination. It's something that you need to live, and you need to expand on a daily basis. So Jira as the agile gear. Now, what are the features of Jira, and why are we talking about Jira right now? Because Jira promotes Agile through the Kanban methodology. You have this Kanban framework, okay? Scrum methodology, Agile reporting, team collaboration. When you talk about Atlassian products, and especially Jira, all of these products are built around collaboration, okay? They're collaborative tools. So this is the Kanban methodology. Okay, so the Kanban methodology, what is the Kanban basically? Well, you have a big whiteboard, as you can see, and it is divided, the columns are divided based on the statuses of the process. It needs to be simple. You have a huge backlog. You are not bound by time box, okay? You just create all of these tasks and you move them around until you're done, okay? And the backlog would not change. You'll have more tools coming in. I'm sorry, more tasks coming in, and it's different from Scrum, because when you talk about Scrum, the Scrum board would change every now and then. Why? Because we are focusing only on a fixed number of tasks, okay? And we need to do them in iterations. So in this specific iteration, for instance, I need to do these specific tasks, and I can just ignore the others on the backlog. I can do them in other sprints as well, okay? So when you talk about Scrum, it's work in iteration. Scrum versus Kanban. And this is very important. Why? Because both are agile methodologies, but at the same time, we need to understand that not all people can use Scrum, okay? You need to understand your team. You need to know that your team, for example, the skills and the capabilities of your team, because if you don't have cross-functional teams, for instance, and if you don't have the proper skills of people for the communication, for the self-organization, it's better to go for Kanban. This is something that we have been facing recently while we are doing implementations on our customer side. People are just, they hear about Agile, they want to adopt Agile, okay? But they want to do Scrum. Very good, then. Do we have the people? Do we have the skills? Do we have the mentality? Are we agile at the first place? Okay? Because if you're not agile, you'll not be able to work with Scrum. And it's very important so talking about the gear here that you have, in order to be geared up, you need first of all to become agile. Okay, you need to live agile, and then once you are agile, you'll be able to select the proper tool which will help you utilize this agility. Okay? Going back into the Kanban and the Scrum boards, and we've seen several times that people have this in whiteboards, physical whiteboards, okay? And you have stickers, and people are just trying to update this. And this is very important. Why? Because it leads into interaction. It leads into people coming into this board and checking all of these tasks and collaborating. But at the same time, when we talking about Jira, and we have this digitalized, okay? Because sometimes you might have different teams across different geolocations, and it's very difficult for us to just take some photos of a physical board, okay? And try to communicate over Slack or over Skype or over any phone, any type of communication. Whereas when you have a system, and when you update the system is available for you at any time. It is available from your mobile device. It's available from your computer, and you can just collaborate over this, okay? Agile reporting, and this is very important because we need to know what is the progress. We need to know, okay, what is the burn down chart? What are the pain points that we're having? Team velocity, and so on. Yes, we can live agile on a daily basis, okay? But how can we measure what we're doing? We need a system. We need a system that can give us some insights and some KPIs, okay, about the implementations that we're doing, about how we're running sprints. Later on, you can just add retrospectives as well, which are very important. Team collaboration, okay? So when you're using Jira, you're able to plan epics, okay? And you're able to break down these epics into stories, and eventually these stories into tasks. And you can plan sprints as well. So you can have all of these tasks in sprints, okay? Now you tell me, what has this to do with collaboration, with team collaboration? Remember when we talked a while ago that all of this, it's very important to involve people, okay? just involve people when you need to plan epics, involve people when you need to plan sprints, because they are able to know more about some of the, especially when we talk about development, they're able to know more about some of the estimations that you might have, and it will help you deliver eventually. And of course, you can manage sprints. You can run one sprint, you can run multiple sprints, and you can even run sprints of different products at the same time. So it's up to you to decide. It's highly configurable. And of course, and this is very important, you can manage your releases, okay? So you might, so in this case where, and when we talk about specifically in Scrum, we are doing iterations, and these iterations might be of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It depends on many factors. But when you do this, you're able to ship software faster, okay? And you'll be able to know exactly, for example, that in the next 2 weeks, I'll be delivering this new feature, for instance, okay? And the next 2 sprints, and the next month, I'll be able to deliver this A, B, and C. And all of this can be done through this application. Now, how does Jira gear up Agile? Okay, it promotes interaction between individuals, and this is one of the core fundamentals of Agile. Okay, you have a system, and the system is built around collaboration. You can just communicate with people. You can have these individuals sit down together, plan epics, plan sprints, give ideas. Okay. And all of this would be tracked, and you can just go over this in a year from now, in 2 years from now. Because yes, individuals are always are there forever, okay? This is the constant, as Adi spoke. But remember that some of these individuals might just leave, okay? And other people might come in, and it would be very difficult for us to understand and to know what happened earlier. So if you have a system, and the system is promoting collaboration, you'll be able to track the entire history and the entire activity of what happened and when did it happen and who did it. So basically it promotes interaction. It is, of course, it digitalizes your work. So yes, I would recommend that if you are in a single office, okay, and you need to collaborate with people, just have a big whiteboard, a physical board, and people will be using it, and people will be updating this. Unless, of course, someone is running next to it and you see one of the stickers jump from open to in progress, that would be something else. But usually, if you have this board, okay, just use it and make interactions around it, okay, between people. Let individuals interact. If not, if you have different teams, you can use Jira as well. And it is available. We talked about the availability for the distributed and the remote teams, so you can collaborate over this tool. And of course, you can track progress and hours. And this is one of the things that Adi was talking about, utilization. Okay, because people always, you know what, he has 1 hour or he has 30 minutes in his time. Let's utilize this. Why isn't he doing anything? And these are terms that we usually listen to, that we hear the whole time. And people focus on the work, and they focus on the hours, and they focus for capacity, and they forget sometimes about the progress, which is the most important thing. All of this, okay, we need to see progress, and once we see the progress, we're able to assess more. Okay, do we need more resources, for instance? Do we need to do something else? And this system would give you both, okay, the capability to track hours and to track progress as well. So you have them combined together. Now let's talk about some of the facts that we have. Adopting Jira or any other tool does not necessarily mean you are agile, okay? Because you may have many tools, and there are some good tools in the market. Jira is one of them, of course. But obtaining Jira does not mean that you are agile, because you can just use Jira for something else as well. Okay? So we need to understand that it's not about the tool. We go back to the agile fundamentals. It's about people. It's about individuals and interactions. tools come later. Resisting change, of course, is not agile. If we stick to our, to our beliefs, and we don't want to listen, we don't want to interact, we don't want to sit with people and know more about how they think and how they can contribute, okay, to the delivery process, then we're not agile, and we're far from agile, actually. Delivering in Big Bang is not agile. Okay, we talked about iterations in Scrum. You cannot just say, you know what, I have requirements and then I have an idea, and you spend, for example, a month writing down requirements, and then you ask developers to do this. Okay, and eventually when the software is shipped, you see, you know what, this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, it is all about interaction between people who deliver and the customer. Okay, we talked about customer negotiations. Sometimes customers might change requirements, and this is very frequent. Okay, you don't need to be frustrated about the changes, but what you can do is you can just use the change, okay, for your sake, and you can show the customer more value by the change that they've asked for. Okay, it does not necessarily mean that this is bad. You need to be able to embrace some changes that are being, given to you. Too many emails, stand-ups does not mean communication. Okay, yes, sometimes we might meet, sometimes people might meet, but if they don't have the agile mentality, and if they're forced to meet, okay, they don't understand, for example, that meeting will result in this specific and clearing the objective faster. That would not be smart, and it's not communication, it's just assembling people in a specific location, okay, and just talking about things without collaboration and without any result eventually. Basically, that's the end of this session. Do you have any questions? Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
The question is more of a Scrum-based. Basically, how do you overcome the overhead lost with the daily meetings when using a digital board like Jira or any other tool? So versus the physical one, because when you have the physical one, you just come up to it, you have it over there, it's updated, and that's it. Using digital, you always have to set something up, like a laptop, or use some other tools. So it's always the overhead, and it happens daily. So how do you overcome it?
Well, it depends. This is a good question. It depends on the team. If you're working with remote teams, then you have no options, basically. Okay, you have no option but to use technology. Technology is used for this. But as I've already said, if you do have your team next to you, it would be even better to have a physical board and then just to assemble people and then let them interact over the board itself. Of course, if you don't have this, then you'll have to use technology and you'll have to make some calls. Okay, share some screens as well, and you can collaborate over the screen. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you.
You're most.
So I was having a look at your licensing, and I understand that you have a license for academia.
Sure.
So I was wondering, me and my colleague here, because we have software engineering projects and for our third-year students, I just think it would be a good experience for them to use this tool.
Sure.
And so I understand it would be free for them, right?
Yes, when we talk about academic, usually we're talking about around 50% off from the pricing, and I think for we can discuss this to be totally free for academic as well. I need to check internally, basically. I need to contact Atlassian.
Okay. Just in this case, it will be stored on cloud or on
It depends. It supports both. I mean, you can just use Atlassian Cloud, or you can use your own cloud data center if you're in Amazon, Azure, okay? Or you can do this on-premise as well. And it supports both Linux and Windows, etc.
Okay, thank
you. High availability as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for the talk. So with many platforms available currently, especially supporting these sort of interactions, what makes Jira stand out?
This is very good. Well, if we need to compare Jira with any other platform that is there, and there are too many, one of the things that I would say would stand up with is it is built around collaboration. It's built for teamwork. I mean, if you browse Jira and if you browse any ticket on Jira or any request on Jira, you can see that you can collaborate through comments, for instance. Okay, you can have integrations with Slack, with other applications where at any time and when needed, you can just initiate collaboration right away. And this is very different from other platforms. So this one, I think this is what stands out for Jira compared to other applications. Any other questions?
Hi, I wanted to ask a little bit about tools for product owners. So do you have any recommendations for a add-on or any functionality within Jira that can allow product owners to build roadmaps? Because we have a lot of epics and we get chased for the release schedules and timelines. Right now we have a Kanban boards with columns of each monthly release, and each of the cards on that board are just epics that we need to build. But sometimes the dates change, and to create like agile roadmaps with milestones that look a bit like Gantt charts, but not really Gantt charts.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any recommendations of any external tools. We've tried Portfolio as well, but there may be others that you might.
Well, basically, yes, Portfolio is one of the applications that you can use. At the same time, there's an application which is called Big Picture that gives, it's a PPM tool, and you can just create Gantt charts, roadmaps, strategies, and so on. So I think it's a good option for you to check as well. Big Picture.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Well, if not, thank you so much for attending. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We're having the point of lunch break in the networking. So if you still have some questions, you can stop by Infosystem or Knowledge Hut or Heriot University table and have discussions with them. We'll resume our afternoon sessions at 1:30 sharp. Thank you.